Everything you saw on that beginning clip of the video is stuff that I've achieved over the past 5 years. In my late 30s and now into my 40s, I'm still getting stronger, I'm getting fitter. And the reason why is because I've managed my testosterone levels by actually increasing my testosterone. That is despite me having SIBO, leaky gut, and actually hormone issues in the past. And if you haven't watched my videos on my SIBO and leaky gut, go and check those out first because you'll find them really, really interesting. But this is something that you can add to your current protocol or diet to increase your testosterone naturally. Please make sure you watch everything in this video because this is a holistic approach. Like with all my videos, it's a matter of you looking at all the information I'm going to give you that is all cited from scientific research and then choosing what could work for you, and maybe looking at things that you've currently got missing or things that you can easily remove from your current diet or your current lifestyle. So as you saw on the quote earlier, men's testosterone has decreased by 40% in 2 decades. Now that is a crazy high figure. And it's not a surprise when we get onto the next slide, looking at some of the symptoms and areas of problems that can be a concern when you are looking at your overall health and well-being. And if testosterone is one of those things, it can have a huge cascading effect on your body. So what is testosterone? Well, testosterone is the primary sex hormone and it's an anabolic steroid in males. It's also important in females as well, but on this presentation we're mostly focusing on males as that's my background, that's what I understand. Testosterone plays many, many different roles on things like reproductive tissues. It's obviously created in the testes itself, and it can involve so many biological functions on the male body. So some of those things include sort of skin growth, body hair, facial hair. It supports collagen production, which is really, really important for things like bone health, bone density. It affects our muscle mass, so this is a big one. You've probably heard of anabolic hormones. Well, yeah, they're really important to grow new muscle tissue and to have like protein synthesis. So you need to have enough of this kind of steroid style of hormone in order to get bigger, to gain more muscle, and also decrease fat. Sex drive. So one of the biggest things I've had with male clients I've worked with in the past is that they have got a low sex drive. When they wake up in the morning, they don't have any wood as such, and they struggle to get an erection. Well, if you're low in testosterone, then this is going to play a major part in that particular type of problem or symptom, because it is a symptom. It's a symptom of low testosterone. So if you don't have positive feelings, you don't have that positive kind of mental attitude, if you don't feel like your brain is firing on all cylinders, you're forgetful. Now, purely from a biological perspective, you could say this hormone is key to making you feel like a man, whatever that might mean. But from my perspective, having low testosterone stops you being the best version of yourself. It stops you feeling like you've the most powerful version of yourself, the strongest version of yourself, and actually the mentally resilient version of yourself. So it's such a key thing to get right and to make sure that our levels are correct. So what are some of the indications that you could have low testosterone? Well, if you are depressed, you're constantly feeling tired, fatigued, struggle to get up in the morning, you don't really have much of a mojo, you feel like you're good to go, man boobs, having fat around the abdominal area, decreased muscle mass, low libido, I said that's a big one. Decreased athletic performance, so this could be, you've got low cardiovascular strength, you just don't feel like you've got much get up and go. They're all signs, and you may have some of these areas that are slightly stronger for you, you may have areas that you have no problem with, but any one of those sort of symptoms as such could indicate that you've got low T. And obviously on the other side of the spectrum, if you don't have low T, you might feel like you're very confident, you've got muscle mass, you don't struggle to put on muscle at all, you've got low body fat, you've got athletic performance. So you can kind of look as this is a bit of an indicator and look at some of these symptoms to see if you can relate to any of those things. And if you can, it could be that your testosterone is maybe slightly lower for you, or it could be that it's very, very low. And these are some of the indications that will give you an idea. So how do we know if we've got low testosterone? Well, we may have some of those symptoms like I mentioned on the previous slide, but also we can actually do a blood test to measure our volume of testosterone, which is actually occurring in our blood. So this is known as hypogonadism, or you might hear it known as low T. So it's a condition where your testes are no longer producing enough testosterone that is required for you to feel good. So it's measured in deciliters, and we consider anything that is below 250 nanograms per deciliter as having low T. Now that is only what you consider as a medical low T. So you might go to the doctor, they may measure your testosterone and they say, yep, you got 250 nanograms per deciliter, you're fine. But actually, is that what's going to make you feel good? We really want to be looking from a functional perspective to optimize, to give us as much testosterone as we possibly can so that we feel our best. We don't want to kind of be in the middle range, we want to be at our highest range, because it's at those ranges where we perform at our best, we have low body fat, we can increase our muscle mass, and so on and so forth. So we want to look for the optimum levels, and it's considered anything above 500 deciliters is considered an optimum level. So if you're anywhere near that, that is in a condition or an area that you want to look at to kind of feel at your best. Now it varies from individual to individual, so it could be that you're someone that has 250 and you feel absolutely fine. Well, that's okay, you don't have to worry about this. But if you're someone that goes a blood test at your GP and finds that you've only got 250, you've got less than that, then it may be considered that you might want to increase that slightly and you might notice a significant difference. So it doesn't mean that you have to always aim for the highest, it just means the higher that we aim, the more likely it is that we're going to feel better and some of those symptoms are going to go down. Now, one thing I think is very important to consider when you are testing your testosterone levels is also to test for your cortisol levels. Why? Because cortisol will suppress your testosterone levels. So if you're someone that's highly stressed and you've got a lot of stress in your life, and you may have even chronic stress from medical conditions such as SIBO, leaky gut, things I've mentioned in my previous videos, then you might want to consider getting something called a Dutch test. And the Dutch test will look at your cortisol levels in relation to your testosterone levels. And it's very, very important we look at those things, because if you've got very, very high cortisol and you've also got reasonably high testosterone, it's likely that your high cortisol levels are going to suppress those testosterone levels as well. Whereas if you've got a small amount of testosterone, but you've got lower cortisol, it's more likely that you're going to have higher testosterone levels that are free floating around your bloodstream that you can utilize. So that's something to consider. Do your own research on the Dutch test, but it's a very, very helpful test, and be able to get that with a functional practitioner or a functional doctor. You should find that test that is available to you. So what are some of the major causes of having low testosterone? Well, the first one, and I've got this right at the top, is not sleeping. Now, I've done an entire video on how to improve your sleep. If you are not sleeping, you are literally giving yourself no chance of increasing your testosterone, because testosterone and all your growth hormones are produced in the early hours of the morning when you're in deep reproductive sleep. So you want to make sure that you're getting very, very deep levels of sleep, or the best you can, and you want to make sure you're sleeping for a decent amount of time. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Go and check out that video. I'll leave a link in the description, but it's very, very important you do that first. The second thing is stress. Like I mentioned before, cortisol will always overrun or over devour your testosterone levels. So if you're someone that is incredibly stressed out, you don't have any kind of relaxation practice or meditation practice, or you are someone that is overtraining, or you're stressed at work, these are what we all call as kind of chronic stresses that are going to deplete your testosterone levels. So it's very important that you find a balance between kind of overtraining or training or stresses at work, and have a decent work-life balance, getting out in nature. These things are all going to be very, very good for calming your nervous system. So we want our parasympathetic nervous system to go into a sympathetic state where we are much more calmer, and we're going to then regenerate our bodies and help kind of measure out or level out these cortisol levels. The next major factor is being overweight. Fat cells in the body actually convert testosterone into estrogen, which we are known as being the female hormone, the more female dominant hormone. So if you're a man and you've got high estrogen, you're going to have things like man boobs, you're potentially going to feel more fatigue, low, so you might feel slightly depressed. So these are all effects of having high estrogen levels. And obviously the big one is actually gaining more muscle fat, or gaining more fat in your body. So a recent study found that an increase in 8% in testosterone levels was found just by doing HIIT exercises. That's HIIT, high intensity exercise, for around about 20 minutes a day. Found that you can simply increase your testosterone by 8%, which is a big win. And actually just even doing a low intensity exercise, that's going for a walk or just doing something that's kind of anaerobic in nature, found that there was an increase in 5%. So there's big increases to be made just by doing very, very low amounts of movement. And obviously the higher that movement is, the more intense it is, the more increase you're going to have in your testosterone levels. They've also found that doing things such as the big movements in weight training, such as things like deadlifting, pressing, all those sorts of motions that you'd find as standard bodybuilding moves, can also massively increase your testosterone. So the key take from this is to make sure that you are not sat on your ass all day, is to make sure you've got some movement. Put some movement into your kind of daily routine and you should see some significant increases in your testosterone levels. Last but not least is food, and especially choline. Choline is super important for testosterone production as it's a precursor to actually creating testosterone naturally in your body. And it occurs in many, many natural foods such as egg yolks, raw meats, liver, chicken, beef, veal, fish. They all contain levels of choline, but some of the highest is contained in egg yolks. Now, if you've got a restrictive diet, for example, you may be vegan and you're not getting choline naturally in your diet, I would highly suggest that you supplement with some choline. The reason behind this is that choline is not just important for testosterone. If you Google choline and benefits, you will see that it has massive benefits across your entire body. And so it's not just a supplement that's good for testosterone, it's a supplement that you need to be getting as it's fundamental for the health of your entire body. So we're now going to look at my top supplements to help you increase your testosterone, and most of these things are plant-based supplements that will certainly assist you in overcoming stress but also increasing your testosterone. And the first one we're talking about is ashwagandha. Now, ashwagandha is what's known as an adaptogen, so it adjusts to what your body needs at the time, and it helps your body kind of become more resilient to stress. So we talked about before having high cortisol. Well, if you're someone that's got high chronic stress, I would suggest taking something like ashwagandha, as it can help balance your body out. So it reduces your cortisol level, and it's been found in thousands of different studies have been done on ashwagandha that you'll be able to find. And most of its benefits are due to the fact that ashwagandha is a very, very highly potent antioxidant, and it's also an anti-inflammatory. So ashwagandha has also been found to increase things like glutathione, and glutathione is the body's master antioxidant. So taking something like ashwagandha can help increase your glutathione production. Now, you can supplement with glutathione, but it's very, very expensive, so it's better to try and use something that can help increase your glutathione production. Now, when we're looking at supplements to actually increase our testosterone, we have to look at zinc. A study published in 1996 showed that just by having low zinc levels can lower your testosterone level by 75%. So this is absolutely massive. So just by having enough zinc in your diet, you can significantly increase your testosterone and also get the other benefits such as an improved immune system. Now, another study showed that taking a supplement known as ZMA, which is quite a popular bodybuilding supplement, it contains zinc, magnesium and vitamin B6, has also found that it's increased people's testosterone on a group of football players. So you can take ZMA as a supplement, or you can just take zinc, depending on which one works for you. And it's shown that 30 milligrams has shown to increase testosterone by 25%. So taking it daily, I recommend taking it first thing in the morning, especially after you've eaten your breakfast, is the best time to take it. Vitamin D actually isn't a vitamin, it's actually a hormone, and we know it as being the sunshine hormone because it's what you get naturally when you go out in the sunlight. Now, many of us are stuck indoors a lot of the time. We're working from home or we're in an office environment, and especially in the winter, if you're darker skinned like me, you're probably not getting enough vitamin D. And we need the active form of vitamin D, which is D3, to help our levels of testosterone. So plenty of studies have shown that if you're low in vitamin D, you can utilize vitamin D to help optimize your testosterone levels. So vitamin D, I take 3,000 to 5,000 IU a day, and I recommend taking it with K2. So you usually get drops, which is vitamin D3 with K2. K2 is a transporter that actually transports the vitamin D into your bones and muscle tissue. And you also want to make sure, if you can, to get at least 20 minutes of sunlight a day, or daylight, so you can get that straight into your eyes without any kind of sun protector on or any UV glasses, so that you're actually getting that active inside your system. But vitamin D3 is a great supplement to look into, as it has a cascading effect on all your hormones in your body, and it's a great vitamin for your immune system as well. As just previously mentioned, vitamin B6, which is in the ZMA formula, it plays a very, very important role in hundreds of metabolic processes throughout the body. And one of the things that it's key for is the aid in developing testosterone naturally in the body. So if you are low on vitamin B6, and you generally find people that are low on B6 are low in B vitamins altogether, so taking a B complex can be quite helpful. If you are a very active person or have a lot of stress in your life, you could find that you're going to be low in B vitamins. So taking a B complex can help, and especially B6 if you're specifically trying to increase your testosterone levels. Testosterone is another popular plant-based supplement that has become very, very popular in the bodybuilding industry. Why? Because it's actually had similar effects to taking anabolic steroids. The benefits of taking testosterone is that it doesn't have any of the side effects to anabolic steroids, as it doesn't bind to your androgen receptors, and steroids have got lots of side effects. You just have to Google it, you'll see all the different side effects there are. But with testosterone, they've found that you don't have to cycle off it. It's something that you can continue to take and gain the benefits from taking this particular supplement. And it also helps optimize your hormonal levels, it helps regulate blood glucose, it helps regulate cholesterol. So there's lots of benefits to testosterone, so it's something I'd certainly look into and do your own research on, but you may find it has some superior benefits to helping increase your testosterone levels. So looking into slightly alternative therapy to increase your testosterone, red light therapy has been shown to improve testosterone by actually enhancing the Leydig cells, or stimulating them, and they're the cells that are responsible for actually creating testosterone in the testes. So what you can do, red lights have been around for a long time now, you've probably seen many on the market, but they've got specific spectrums of light that are shine, as shown in the picture there, where you can stand near to the light, basically completely naked, and if you shine that light on your testes, you can find that it can increase and stimulate these Leydig cells and therefore increase your testosterone. So it's something that you can do very, very easily, and these lamps can vary in price but are relatively cheap, around about £60 you can buy a lamp, and that way you can kind of lie in bed or you can get up in the morning and use these lamps to actually enhance your cellular activity. And almost as a contrast to actually using red light, we're actually talking about cold water therapy. This has become massive interest over the past few years, especially for guys like Wim Hof, who have brought this to the public and made it kind of more available to people. Is this idea of going or immersing your body in cold water. You can do it with ice or cold water or cold showers, and they found that just by being in a cold shower for a very limited time can have crazy biological changes, and not just mentally but physically. And you can find that by doing something like cold water therapy can increase your testosterone levels by about 5%. So again, you can kind of stack some of these things to naturally increase your testosterone with the supplement stack, and by using light therapy in cold water, you can find that you can get some kind of major increases in your overall testosterone levels. So I hope you found this slideshow useful. I hope you found this presentation useful. As I said, look into all these different areas, find what you've got missing in your diet, find what you could supplement, find what works for you. But just by making a few very minor changes, you can significantly increase your testosterone and actually start reaping the benefits of all those things we've talked about. And it wouldn't take you very long at all, and within 4 to 6 weeks you can see some huge changes. I know I certainly did, and I know other people that have seen these changes as well. And it's very important that you start looking into these areas, because if you are suffering, these key things could change your life from going from feeling like absolute crap to feeling absolutely awesome. So I hope you found this content useful. If you liked it, please subscribe to my channel. I do lots of content like this. I'll be happy to listen to your comments and answer any questions you might have. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.